things portable. And the other thing is intuitive application user interface. You know, if technology is cumbersome to use, it's really impossible, and this will make it easy. And the other piece is wireless again, and we're focusing on Bluetooth, Bluetooth Low Energy. Those technologies are the ones that, and also ANT. Those technologies enable connecting, information from the person, and then Wi-Fi, which is very important in carrying that information back to the caregiver. Last piece is just a case study here, something that we've announced yesterday. And this platform is really solving one of the core problems that we're seeing from our customers. Typical design challenge is really the hardware integration, software integration, all the radios, they interact with each other and they create interference. And also a lot of our customers want to customize things and create the different solutions. So what we're doing from our end, we're pulling all the pieces together from what we have in TI, the components, the analog, the wireless piece, and we're creating reference designs so people can pick them up and create a solution that they want to use. This specific example is based on a product that we call a Sitara AM37 with a wireless solution. There's also software coming from Elbris Networks. They're the one that actually drive that solution. And what you can do with it eventually is connect it to all these different sensors over Bluetooth or Bluetooth Low Energy or ANT or even Zigbee. And be able to do like a video conferencing solution, right? So someone can take a measurement at the home, the doctor can talk to them through the video conference and they can send that information back over the internet. And again, that's just one example. We'll be bringing more and more of those over time. Okay, so with this, I want to leave you with thank you very much, and looking forward for the discussion. And again, we're doing a lot in this journey, and we're looking for more and more people to join us. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's very nice to be here. I'm Ed Siemens with A&D Medical. Our claim to fame is that A&D developed the first oscillometric blood pressure technology to, as the good doctor said, so the doctor wouldn't have to worry about hearing anything. The device would hear for him. So you can count on our devices working. They work very well. We've been doing it for years. And in the recent past, we have taken on the task of making all of our devices connected. And as you probably seen today and talked to people today, there is a lot of issues around technology, and we're very excited that TI is taking mini radios and putting them on one chip, because we have devices that cover the world right now with the various radios that are out there and available. Just to give you an idea of our view of why the hospital without walls is so significant is that America is getting old. In fact, the world is getting old. And chronic diseases are now the biggest problem Americans have. The biggest clinical and medical issue we have. It's the most expensive proposition we have in taking care of all those people, and I must shamefully say myself, who suffer from chronic diseases. Very expensive proposition. We need to try to help people get better and get fitter, get healthier, and then manage them in ways that are less expensive. And it's estimated, as you can see on my slide, that we could save over $200 billion over the next 25 years if we just move people out of the hospital and into their home for patient care. This is a very simple diagram of what that could look like, or what it does look like actually today. You have a data collection methodology. Could be a blood pressure kit, could be a pulse oximeter, could be a weight scale that's in the patient's home. Data is transmitted from those devices remotely and wirelessly. That data is evaluated, and on an exception basis, a caregiver is notified of whether they need to interact with the patient or not, and then they intervene in the patient's care to help improve their well-being. I regularly hear that we still need to test this model. This model is not proven. It's still in its infancy. And I'm here to tell you that it has been tested effectively on a large scale, and that it works. The Veterans Administration has been testing this model for quite some time right now. In over 50 different healthcare management programs within their organization, through 18 different integrated service networks, they have been testing remote patient monitoring and using it in a regular therapeutic way. They have been able to, through that testing, reduce the number of hospital bed days by 25%. They've reduced hospital admissions by 20%. And probably the most impressive number is the bottom little bar chart there that shows that telehealth program costs per patient per annum only $1,600. So not only are they improving patient well-being and health, but they're reducing healthcare costs dramatically. That's one thing you can say that your federal government is doing correctly. So they've been so impressed with what they've done on this program over the past several years that they initially started in 2003 and they rolled up to 31,000 patients, but this year alone, by the end of 2011, they expect to have 110,000 patients being remotely monitored for various chronic disease states. So where does A&D fit in that proposition? We are the data collection part of the equation. We make blood pressure kits, we make weight scales, we make activity monitors, and our goal is, as you've heard over the course of the whole day probably, is we just want the device to do what the device does. We don't want anybody to have to think about what they're doing. When they take their blood pressure, they just take their blood pressure, and then all the data is transmitted quietly and seamlessly behind the scenes. We currently, as I told you, we're the kings of the radios. We make a complete line of ANT products that are available both for clinical environments and then worksite wellness programs. We do Bluetooth in two fashions. We have a proprietary stack of our own, and we do a Continua stack so that we have interoperability available for a lot of devices that we don't make all linking together in hubs. We also do another little low power radio called FitLinks, which is more of a personal wellness radio model. And we're working right now, because there's no absolute radio solution yet, we're working on developing Zigbee radios for our devices. We have Wi-Fi. We're literally putting cell phones in the devices with GSM, and we have near-field solutions also. So A&D is committed 100% to making healthcare management remotely done at home through the use of wireless technologies. And that is us in a nutshell, and I look forward to any questions I can help you with as the panel continues.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
Which mic? I want to use this mic because I want to walk. Any objection? That's me. So I'm on this to forward. Right, afternoon everyone. I'm afraid I can't stand behind the lectern. It just doesn't work for me. They say a moving target's more difficult to hit, so I'm going to walk around a bit. The first thing I wanted to say, and I hadn't seen Jay's slide before he started, and I thought that was wonderful. The first video conferencing system I'd ever heard of was from AT&T in 1936. I think it was the New York World Fair. So to beat me by 12 years is pretty impressive. Video conferencing, I've been involved in it since 1992. Video conferencing is one of those technologies that The Economist every year used to say, next year will be big in video conferencing. And we would all sit there and go, isn't this exciting? And then after about 10 years of it not happening, they gave up and just never came up with it again. So it's really interesting. Oh, it feels like the Christmas lectures, if you've ever seen those in England. They bring in their science experiment, and there's our stuff there. One of our people in Austin just wants to happen to watch this today. So anyway, I'm going to be this reasonably short today because I'm really interested in what you 250 people in this room have to say. I've heard all this before, or most of it at least. So just to give you a bit of background, I'm not going to hark on about some of these slides because some of it's a bit corporate-y rather than medical, but it's important. You've probably never heard of LifeSize, but you probably have heard of the company who bought us a year ago. That was a small $3 billion company called Logitech. And it's interesting that we've talked today, or the guys already have today, talked about